Good evening, my Real News Midday TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for Friday, September 5, 2025. And in the news this evening, Sibling duo charged after allegedly stabbing woman. A brother and a sister have been charged with wounding with intent after allegedly stabbing a woman multiple times in St. Anne on Monday. Charged are 30-year-old Lionel Howell, otherwise called Kemar, a laborer of Mammy Bay, St. Anne, and a 33-year-old Justice Howell, otherwise called Jessica, a self-employed woman of Stairtown, St. Anne. Reports from the St. Anne's Bay police are that at about 6 p.m., Justice and the woman had an argument during which Lionel intervened. During the argument, Lionel allegedly used a knife to stab the woman. A tussle ensued, and both Justice and Lionel allegedly used knives to inflict several stab wounds to the woman's body. The police were alerted, and both siblings were apprehended. The woman was transported to the hospital, where she was admitted in serious condition. Both Justice and Lionel were subsequently charged. They are set to appear before the St. Anne Parish Court on November 6. Wanted man Denden charged for murder. A 24-year-old man has been charged with multiple offenses, including murder, following a shooting in Browns Lane, Central Village, St. Catherine, on April 24. Police have slapped Denardo James, otherwise called Denden, of Caymanas Estate, St. Catherine, and West End, Westmoreland, with charges of murder, possession of a prohibited weapon, unauthorized possession of ammunition, using a firearm to commit a felony, and a conspiracy. Dead is 41-year-old Ludlow Johnson Jr., otherwise called Sheldon or Grimo, a farmer of Browns Lane, Central Village, St. Catherine. Reports from the Central Village police are that about 6:15 p.m., Johnson was walking on the roadway when he was allegedly pounced upon by James, along with other men who opened the fire, hitting him all over his body. The police were summoned, and upon their arrival, Johnson was taken to the hospital, where he was pronounced dead. An investigation was launched into the matter, and James was listed as wanted. He turned himself in on Monday, August 24. Charges were formally laid against him for Johnson's killing on Thursday. Gail St. Mary man charged for murder of his 71-year-old brother. A 57-year-old Gail St. Mary man was charged on Thursday for the murder of his 71-year-old brother, who was found dead with a wound in his home in the community. Charged is Canute Clemens, otherwise called Elton, a laborer of Jeffreytown district in Gail. Dead is Dennis Clemens, otherwise called Elenge. Reports from the Puerto Maria police are that about 6:30 a.m. on Sunday, August 31, residents visited Dennis as they had not seen him since the day before. Upon arrival at the premises, they saw Canute leaving the house hastily, according to the police. Upon entering the house, they stumbled upon Dennis lying on his bedroom floor with a wound to the head. The police were alerted, and on their arrival, he was transported to hospital, where he was pronounced dead. An investigation was immediately launched into the matter, and the Canute was taken into custody later the same day. He was charged on Thursday, September 4, following a question and answer session in the presence of his attorney. A court date is being finalized for him. Fire destroys several homes in Maxfield area of St. Andrew. Several homes along Fitzgerald Avenue in the Maxfield area of St. Andrew were ravaged by a fire of unknown origin on Friday afternoon. The police and the Jamaica Fire Brigade are probing the incident. The blaze started shortly after noon. 2 units responded to the fire and are now conducting cooling down operations. The news understands that several persons have been left displaced due to the inferno. There were no reports of injuries. Westmoreland taxi operator facing charges after hotel worker dies in crash. A White House taxi operator is facing charges after he allegedly hit a 23-year-old Westmoreland hotel worker from his motorcycle along the Belmont Main Road on Thursday afternoon, resulting in his death. The deceased has been identified as Dale Johnson, otherwise called Delano, a bartender of a White House address. Mr. Johnson was employed at the Sandals South Coast. It is reported that he was riding his motorcycle in the direction of White House when a taxi operator heading in the opposite direction swerved across the road to pick up passengers. The taxi collided with the motorcycle, resulting in Mr. Johnson being thrown from the motorbike and onto the road. Mr. Johnson sustained head injuries and died at the scene. St. Ann burglar caught after victim's phones lead cops to his home. A 25-year-old Oterious man is now before the courts after police say 2 stolen cell phones were tracked straight to his home in Snow Hill. Chevar Landell has been charged with burglary and larceny in connection with a break-in in Parrytown, St. Ann on Saturday, August 30. According to reports from the Oterious Criminal Investigation Branch, the victim was jolted awake around 3 a.m. by strange noises in her house. When she checked, she reportedly saw a man making his escape through a window. Moments later, she realized that her iPhone and the Samsung Galaxy phone were missing, both valued at $250,000. The police were called and the investigators quickly tracked the devices to Landell's residence. A search was carried out and both phones were allegedly found in his possession. Landell was arrested and later charged on Wednesday, September 3. His court date is being finalized. 3 Haitians pleaded guilty to overstaying in Jamaica. 3 Haitian nationals who overstayed their time in Jamaica and were later held in Angels, Spanish Town, pleaded guilty when they appeared in the St. Catherine Parish Court today, September 5, 2025. Those charged are Fidel Lizar, Nancy Lizar, and Liberal Schneider, all of Haitian addresses. When the accused appeared before acting senior parish court judge Janelle Nelson Gale, they pleaded guilty. They were each sentenced to 10 days in custody. However, with the time already served, they were ordered released. Attorney-at-law Abina Morris told the court that her clients had arrived illegally in Jamaica but were seeking to travel to Brazil. Morris explained that they had submitted their passports to the Brazilian embassy to secure visas for legal entry into that country. Time had run out on my clients before they got through, and they were subsequently held for overstaying, Morris said. The court heard that the accused arrived in Jamaica on May 18, 2025, and were scheduled to depart on August 17, 2025. On August 26, 2025, police acting on intelligence arrested 3 in Angels, Spanish Town. They were later handed over to the Passport, Immigration and the Censorship Agency for processing. Thank you everyone for watching. See you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. for another news update.